Man, I am still reeling over episode 3 of The Last of Us. I know that of the time of posting this video, Last 4 has dropped, and I'm sure at the time you might be watching this video, episode 5 has dropped, but I'm still thinking back to episode 3 because there is something about that episode that is just so magical in terms of representation, right? And in this video, I want to go through that. And so this video is for anyone who, like me, is still just like transfixed on episode 3, who love the representation. And it's also kind of for people who like to sit on the wall sometimes and go, hey, look, it doesn't matter if they're gay, just tell a good story, right? I'm kind of hoping this video will be a watershed moment for you, so fingers crossed that's the case. Bill and Frank in the video game of The Last of Us have a very limited story. In fact, the only time that we do meet Frank is when he is already dead, unfortunately hanging from the ceiling. And then of course, due to the fact that it is a video game and you're only ever going to be following the main characters, in this instance Joel and Ellie, the only time that we meet Bill is in the present day of Joel and Ellie's adventure. And then when Joel, Ellie and Bill happen across Frank's body, we find out that Frank is someone whom Bill greatly cared for. He describes him as his partner. It is a lovely, tender moment for Bill where we get to really see his vulnerability, but we kind of then move past it and continue on with Joel and Ellie's story. So now bringing us forward to the Last of Us TV show, there's a real chance to work in a new medium and expand on Bill and Frank's story. A chance that Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin were not going to let pass them. Now that we are no longer physically controlling our main characters, we can take time to step away from them and explore the stories of other characters, building this world around them. And I think the game really asks the perfect question, and it's delivered by Joel, and that question is,
who the hell's Frank?
Now look, I'm not going to sit here and completely recap the episode for you. There are plenty of videos on YouTube already recapping, reviewing that show. No, I'm going to move on to explain why this backstory update is crucial for amazing representation. And no, it's not just because they're gay, it's because it's a good story. Look, whenever we find out that a character in an adaptation is suddenly gay or bi or trans, or they've been gender or race swapped, there is a corner of the internet that will have you believe there is some kind of wackadoo agenda happening. But you thought I was going to say a different W word there, didn't you? And the phrase along the lines of just tell a good story seems to fly out the woodwork at 100 miles per hour. I've always enjoyed representation when a person's identifiers are a part of them but aren't necessarily the leading thing about them. Like, for example, Bill is a survivalist, he has a gun collection, he plays piano, he can cook, he sets traps, and oh, he just so happens to be gay. It's something that kind of should be second nature, right? Now, this isn't to say that that is the only way people should be represented. If we never lead with someone's identifiers, then we would never get such successful shows as It's a Sin, Sex Education, Euphoria, Heartstopper. The list is endless. But I digress. Right now, we are focused on The Last of Us. And episode 3, Long Time, takes lead on a story about love and kindness, acceptance and grief and loss, togetherness, survival, and hope. These are all universal themes, something we have experienced, something we are experiencing, something we will experience in the future. The characters through which we experience these universal themes within the realms of this TV show just so happen to be gay. If you were to change that last thing at the end there and make them a straight couple, would the story still be the same? On the one hand, yeah, sure, it will. When the sexuality of a character has no real impact on the story, then when we state it doesn't matter if they're gay, well, then there is no need for them to be straight. There is also no need for them to be gay, they just are. Like in the real world, there is no need for anyone to be gay, they just are. I mean, maybe some people will claim that they have a need to be gay, and fair play to those people, that's their decision to make. And then of course there's probably no reason that you might be straight, you just are. And I think if you can start to understand that, then you'll really start to understand why this is an amazing episode of television in terms of representation. Now, of course, on the other hand, if you do change Bill and Frank from being gay to, say, Bill and Frankie, making them a straight couple, it's no longer Bill and Frank's story, something so universal yet so personal. These are two men who maybe at one point thought that they were the only two survivors in the world. One one of them just needing something to eat and a cleanup, the other just wanting to protect what he had left and keep that safe, finding each other and falling in love. I mean, if that doesn't make your heart melt, then I'm out. I don't know what does. You didn't care about them being gay and you just wanted a good story? Well, you got it. You got given two survivors who found love and companionship when everything else was lost. Now, if that isn't the kind of subtle, don't shove it down our throats kind of representation that both sides of the coin have been fighting for, guys, we done it. We won.
We did it. We did it, Joe.
Did you enjoy this video? I hope so. And guess what? There's a lot more here on Hakuna MaChatter for you to sink your teeth into in terms of representation. Oh, look, there's 2 videos right here already. And you can subscribe turning on the bell notification just there. Until next time, Hakuna MaChatter.